So it is part 6 of my mega loft declutter. That is the attic for my American friends. And I'm really proud of myself to get to part 6 of my loft declutter in the month of March. I have challenged myself to clear as much of my loft as is humanly possible in the month of March, and it has been so busy at work this month. It feels like the universe is out to get me. I work as a lawyer and I do work from home a lot, which is awesome because it means I can try and bite off little, chunks of the decluttering around work. So if I manage to get a bit of a lunch break, I can spend some time decluttering. And on this particular day, this was a Friday, it was so busy. It was so busy, it was crazy. Having to do a lot of last minute things because I work in policy, a lot of legislation, court stuff. I'm in Parliament a lot. And you just never know what's going to land from day to day. And on this particular day, we'd had some stuff in that meant I had to write some articles and it was busy. It was really busy. And I got to the point where I thought, I just can't do any decluttering today because I was out in the evening with some girlfriends. And then I thought, you know what? I have got a tiny bit of time before I have to jump on my next call. Why don't I just take some time and actually just sometimes decluttering is a nice distraction from work. So I worked out I had a very precise 12 minutes for this particular declutter. And then I finished it off the next day. So I'm recording this on Saturday when I have finished the declutter of this particular part, which is kids' clothes. I say, there's still some kids' clothes to declutter, but this was for my daughter. So I went through her drawers as part of this declutter in her room. I went through the remainder of her current size of clothing, and then I looked through the box for the next size up. So we're in this, I know kids don't often straddle different sizes, and I find it hard to anticipate what they'll be in. Missing the boat of wearing some clothes entirely has definitely happened to me, much more with my firstborn. He grew so quickly. He was always 1 or 2 sizes above what he actually was. And I was so unprepared for that. So we missed clothing with him entirely. Luckily, we had another son though. He got to wear everything. And now we have a daughter as well, a third and final child. So she's 2.5 and she's always been a petite baby. She was generally in a clothes size under what her age is. And when she was really little, we were referred many times about her weight, and she was just a petite baby. And I kind of figured she'd just always be petite, but she has suddenly had a real growth spurt, and I put a little tracksuit on her today. She's called Daisy and she has this little tracksuit with daisies on. It was really cute. And it was the thinner fabric. So I thought, this would be really great for springtime. Kind of held it back a bit and I put her in it today. Can see full on wrists, her ankles are out, and it didn't look too bad, but it definitely did not fit well. We've got to get as much wear as possible basically in the next few weeks before she does not fit in this any longer. And all her t-shirts now basically make her look like she's got a bit of a pot belly sticking out. But she's definitely grown in height, and she has that super cute toddler chub still. And yeah, she's not fitting in her clothes so good. But then there is some stuff that's fitting her really well. She's still got plenty of pairs of leggings that fit well. She's got some jumpers which are cool. But then t-shirts, she's very much they're just not fitting. So I know I've got some stuff left over from my sons, and I've also got some hand-me-down clothes from friends, and I want to go through all of it basically and work out what she can fit in now. One of the things I did find though was that there seemed to be quite a difference in sizes between the age 2 to 3 and the age 3 to 4. It's almost like the age 2 to 3 was meant to fit, a newly 2-year-old, and the age 3 to 4 is meant to fit a 4-year-old. And I don't know whether, I guess partly it might be because we tumble dry a lot of our clothes. So I've probably shrunk her 2 to 3 clothes a little bit. But then also I would have been tumble drying the boys' clothes, and I'm looking at t-shirts from my son thinking, well, this is way bigger than what Daisy's in right now. So I've basically ended up deciding to leave some of her 2 to 3 stuff in her drawers, but then getting some of the t-shirts out for my son and putting those in the drawers as well. And we'll just have to do, I mean, maybe she'll just be in stuff which is a bit too big for a little while, but surely a little bit too big on a t-shirt is better than having your belly hanging out at the bottom, right? Here I am going through stuff now that is left over from my son's and working out like what will fit now, because a lot of this stuff, like, I mean, here I'm checking sizes because I did find that there was a bit of a mixture in this particular box. Mostly it was age 3 to 4, but then we did have a few 4 to 5 items, and then there were a few that were a little bit smaller. So I'm checking the sizes, but I'm also thinking about what she might want to wear. You know, is a jumper adequate? Like, you know, there's some good, like, you know, good for a chillier evening on a spring day when we're just getting into summer and it's not too warm. Some of the shorts, though, appeared to be way too big. We don't want too many long sleeve t-shirts because I've gone through her drawers and she has a few of those already, etc., etc. So like I'm kind of doing a bit of both. Like I'm checking the sizes and I'm also thinking about what we might need to be putting back in circulation in her drawers at the same time. And I feel like I'm constantly going through kids' clothes. Like they grow so quickly. With 3 children, different ages, you know, you're constantly rotating clothes. Somebody's wearing out of stuff. Somebody needs new stuff. And I did today actually buy some new things for my daughter. I try to get as much as possible secondhand. I feel like it is the most environmentally friendly thing to do, but also with kids' clothes, particularly at this kind of age. Like I would say for my eldest, he's about to be 7, and I feel like they wear out their clothes a bit more, unless it's the formal, you know, clothing, smart shirts, etc. Then they might not wear them out so much, but their jeans and their t-shirts, they're wearing them out. They'll wear holes in things, and you don't get to pass on so much stuff. But for my daughter, her age, like summer dresses, trousers, you know, maybe not so much t-shirts, but you know, there's a lot of, you know, jackets and coats and jumpers and all of those things that you can pick up secondhand. So I'm a big fan of Vinted here in the UK, I use that a lot. And I picked up some things for her for the summertime. So I wanted to go through the clothing from like that we have in the loft, that we have to hand down, so that I can check and see what she's got, like do a sense check. What do we actually need? What is good to pass on? Because it's nice to have things which, you know, we have our nursery clothing basically. So this drawer that I'm working on at the moment, the left-hand drawer, that's mostly nursery clothes. So the clothes that have been maybe handed down, or perhaps we had them as best and then they have been stained a little bit or whatever it is, we will then put those as like nursery clothes, because at nursery they're always painting and making slime and doing all kinds of messy play activities and getting food like all over themselves. And yeah, you've got to be prepared for nursery stuff basically to get wrecked. I regularly get to the point where I'm like, well, you know, this t-shirt can't cope with any more paint stains, it's gonna have to go. And in fact, when I was going through stuff from my sons, I was like, why did I put this away to use my daughter when it is so like ruined from nursery already? But perhaps I wasn't able to, like, I don't know, too busy to notice it when I put things away, or maybe I was just thinking that we wouldn't have as much, because I think there's always with me like that worry that I will declutter stuff too, like I'll declutter too much, and then I'll come to my kids' clothing and be like, well, they haven't got enough jumpers, if only I hadn't got rid of that jumper from my son or whatever. And that hasn't really happened to me much. It has happened a couple of times. There have been a couple of things that I have regretted decluttering, but they have been small things, insignificant things really, and that I have been able to replace. So I've not ever decluttered anything from the house and then like not been able to replace it and like really regretted it. So that is reassuring, because I have been decluttering on and off since I had my kids now. So the fact that that has never happened to me, I guess, is there as a reassurance for me that it is okay. And I mean, honestly, with the kids' clothes, I feel like they still have too much. like in an ideal world, maybe we would have one drawer of clothing. But then also with nursery, how practical is that? And at the moment, I'm really putting clothes in there for the spring season and summer. Like I don't want to have to go back in the loft to get summer clothes out. So I want to put the summer clothes as best as I possibly can back in the drawers. So the weather here is really like it's getting much warmer, much nicer. Like spring has definitely sprung. We have loads of daffodils out in our garden. It's definitely cheering me up no end. And it's so nice to like feel that warmth, like not need a coat. So for my own clothing, I actually at the moment have a 33 item wardrobe, and I made a separate video about that a while ago. And I've had a 33 item wardrobe before. I had that for a whole year. And there's a book by Courtney Carver. It's a really interesting read. If you're interested in minimalizing, what's the word? Minimizing, that's the one, your wardrobe, then I highly recommend that you check that one out. I found having a 33 item wardrobe gave me so much peace when it came to my clothing. Like I could actually see what was working for me, like what fit me, what I liked, and it made me actually try different outfits. And I think I actually wore more of my wardrobe by having less like visible. And the idea is not that you kind of have to ditch everything else in your wardrobe, like that you keep 33 items and send the rest away to the charity shop. But that you kind of pack them away out of sight. And it has helped me to minimize my wardrobe as well. But I started again with a 33 item wardrobe at the beginning of January. So we're coming to the end of the 3 months. So you spend 3 months with that wardrobe and then you basically switch it out. So you have 33 items for 3 months. It's called the 333 wardrobe. So I will be looking to get my own clothes out of the loft and switch those up a bit now that it's getting warmer. And there are some things I think I'm, in my wardrobe that I will definitely keep, but also I want to get those heavier knits away and get some of my, my warmer weather stuff out, get some different dresses out, put some shoes away, get some different shoes, get the sandals back out, I think. So I want a wardrobe that can take me like through spring and start to get into those warmer months because, covering April, May and June, like in June, like particularly toward the end of June, we can have some really warm days. So I want to get some stuff out that can kind of carry me into the cusp of summer. So I'm very excited for that one. And I would love to have the kind of equivalent 33 item wardrobe for my kids. But honestly, it's one of those things that I do find hard. But as time goes on, as they get older, I am storing less and less. Like I'm much more practical now about what I put away to hand down from one child to another. And which is awesome. Like at the moment, I have a lot of clothing in my middle child's like current size and the size he's going into, but then I don't have like loads of clothes for my eldest, and then I'm being careful when I'm buying stuff for my eldest that it's stuff that I know like I'll get the wear out of again for my middle child, that we don't have too much stuff. And I think actually the fact that my eldest, or both my boys are in school now, I'm kind of used to that kind of school system a bit. They're in a uniform Monday to Friday most weeks. We kind of need more clothes, like a heavier kind of amount of summer clothes, because they have practically like 7 weeks off school in the summer. So they need more stuff in the summer. But otherwise, we do not need masses of clothes once they are in school. Like, it's some nice bits, it's football stuff, and then that's kind of it. So I've got to the point here where I am pretty much done, organised. I've been through the drawers, I've been through the clothes, and then I also have some memory clothing that I'm going to have made into memory blankets for the kids. I've paid a deposit for that and everything. So I actually, after this video, I went through that as well, just to sense check that I had enough, I wasn't getting rid of too much. And I did put a couple more items in the memory box. So here I just decided, I looked at the tub, it was too full to put the lid on. I don't want to have 2 tubs of age 3 to 4 stuff to put in the loft. So I tipped it out again. I was like, come on, Nat, you can do this. You don't need all of these to hand down to Daisy. Like, be reasonable. Does she want a long sleeve Batman t-shirt? Come on. I don't think so. Not to say she might not like Batman, but she has a lot of clothes. She gets a lot gifted. I don't think she needs all of this. So I was really good and actually managed to get rid of a few more things just with like a quick fire round so that I can get the lid on this tub and I am not putting too much back. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I got a lot of stuff here. This is all stuff that's going. So immediately after I filmed this video, I sorted through this into 2 piles. So one, the bulk of it, I would say, goes to my friend for her little girl. She is around 9 months, so everything that is decent, you know, I can pass on to her, and that can be like her nursery stuff when the time comes for her to start nursery, and then the rest of it went into a bag to go into our local Salvation Army clothing bin. So it will all be recycled, it will all go to good use. I hope you're doing really well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!